begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches.
Alright, we up in this bitch. Happy Monday, motherfuckers. How you guys doing? So, I know this is gonna be a recipe for a Monday morning seizure, but we thought it looked pretty fucking hot. So, welcome to the Real Nomics Black Adam. So, if you guys know anything about Black Adam, he's a bit of an anti-hero, and the real reality is, you really can't save everybody. Only the few. So, for the few that pay attention, Black Adam is here for you. Can we do JPM? We could. 101 stars. That's about par, right? Where we should be. Monday seizure is right. I don't want to get you guys started off with something boring, So fuck it. We're having some new fun with the full wall surface, no doorways. We can go fucking absolute ape shit now. So it is what it is. Like the vid. Colorful, I think. So yeah, we got the studio reset up. Definitely some fun vibes here, making some new layouts for the show. You guys seen it, we've transitioned. So this was the golden doorways era is no more. Now the era of the crash cycle is back. Shout out to the new collector who was pretty funny and bidding this thing at 369. I was like, this guy must be in fucking Acolytes to throw something out like that. But this was the newest one from a new show set. I appreciate everybody who supports the artwork side of what we do too. It's a labor of love. We try to have like a beautiful show with really great content. I think the designs are pretty badass. What do you guys think? Starting to be a pretty cool art collection over on Foundation, huh? Thinking it's looking pretty good. Our genre of art is starting to make a mark. So if you don't follow some Foundation, make sure to check that out. Creeping up the ranks of the Foundation, elite. We got a collection just outside the top 100, so almost there. But yeah, kind of a unnoticed thing while we do the shows. We definitely had some pretty awesome artwork come from the shows, and we do appreciate all our collectors that have picked some of those up. All right, let's see. Any war stories today? I got your war stories today. Check this out. check you guys out last week. Took a day to get out the extra one, but very dope. Another big short squeeze happened. If you guys would pay attention to that. And Trading Lounge, the Acolytes, were on top of it again, right? This was the other big short squeeze, the fifth biggest in history that you guys played. And then we played the pullback of it on Thursday. And then you guys are ready again and crushed it again on this next leg of the short squeeze and fucking just smoked it. So it's about as good as we could hope for, right? Killer prep from the show, morning prep after we do the shows, and you guys are in here just printing fucking R's, right? This guy's totally new, Condor. Intervention read on the show. If you guys pay attention, right? Nobody was sure there's an intervention even all the way through the weekend. You guys saw that one? They just not come to terms that it was an intervention. So I thought that was pretty interesting. How big was it? Let's see if we can find this for you. This was, I think it came out here a little bit ago. It's like 5 trillion yen they put into it. I'd seen it on here earlier. I can't find it. But the intervention was a 5 trillion yen intervention by the BOJ, estimated to be about that big. Like I said, with the parabolic move that we saw in the yen, them being the first victim likely of Putin's economic attack, they have to step in to kind of defend themselves from turning into fucking the lira. But make no mistake, unless you fix the macroeconomic conditions that are the root of what's happening to Japan, that's not necessarily over. As much as they think they can stop it. So this is what an intervention looks like. I told you guys about these things. I mean, Japan does them. Surprisingly enough, all he did was retest the fucking breakout structure that we had. So this would be our bull flag. Our bull flag is actually the intervention. So we should pay attention to this. Like I told you a lot of times, Japan's interventions don't sustain too well. You see a really vicious movement and then it just fucking eats it all back up. When the Fed steps in to intervene, that's when you watch out. That thing will run you over. But these guys, this is typically what it looks like. The blip on the radar in the scheme of the macro trend they're trying to slow down. And we've seen this for years. That's why we could recognize it right away in the morning show. So, you hear it here first, right? News before it's fucking news, baby. Shout out to Trojan Mom, Perky G, M Mon. Appreciate everybody's throwing some morning bits at the show. So I got your group scorecards. Did you guys write me any individual ones? You guys be slacking on some scorecards now. The Cas will make it for us. So we got nothing new here, but we do want to keep track of something this week. Both earnings. So earnings is crazy this week. We haven't had any earnings we cared about, but now you've got like a third of the S&P that you give a shit about is reporting, and McDonald's, Apple, Amazon, Exxon, every big market movers this week. So typically when you have a week with this many big names in it, this is really where you pay attention to your VIX too, because all these guys create uncertainty. Any one of them can say something crazy, and around like big earnings cycles, you tend to have like your VIX cycle. You'll see the VIX rise a lot into earnings season, and because of the increasing risks of what any one of these guys can do. So we want to pay attention to this week because everybody here can do something crazy. Tuesday, Microsoft and Google and UPS and JetBlue, all these guys are going to say something pretty key about the economy, the travel and just the velocity of the economy at large. Go all the way to here, Meta. And Meta's going to have to explain just what the fuck is going on inside of him. He's got his own specific problems. Not so much for the broader economy, just Meta itself has its own internal problems. And then to pay attention to McDonald's, Amazon, and Apple. These guys will be important also. Any one of these guys can do say something that changes the entire landscape of the market for the week. So I would expect to see the VIX probably hold some strength going into this week, and the market probably be a little we're at 30 VIX, but be volatile nonetheless, just because there's so much variables now coming out with what these guys are going to say, and everyone's forward expectations are fucking pretty much down the tubes, So what comes next is going to be important, especially with Apple's iPhone 14 basically sucking balls, and them reducing just actual production because demand's not there for it. So there's a lot of guys that you care what the fuck they say right now. I can't find that stupid post, but yeah, it was estimated at 5.4 to 5.5 trillion yen on the intervention. So whatever it was, you guys got to ride the fucking wave of that into the weekend. Also saw that he hit some crypto, like we said on Friday. It would probably be a barometer for how the weekend would go, depending on how the session went, if that intervention sustained through the session, which it did. So got a little bit of a risk on movement through crypto for the weekend, but nothing humongous. So we'll have to see what we look like going into this week. So earnings aside, do we have any economic numbers that are fucking crazy? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So that looks like fucking hell on earth. Let's see. Today, everything we care about for today is gone. So for USA's flash PMI, 50 minutes to open. That's a red number, 50 minutes to open. That can fucking smash you. So pay attention to that if you're day trading it. This consumer sentiment, consumer confidence will be big every time they announce it. While you're in the kind of position you're in the economy, this will get a lot of focus. And CPI for AUD matters in the currency market. China's getting obliterated right now. If you guys saw how much China was down, China was like limit down at one point last night. I guess Xi Jinping, basically confirming what we've talked about in the show for quite a few years, that he is an emperor. Him and Putin are taking emperor positions, for a lifetime objective against the United States. It's being looked on favorably, they say, by investors who are looking at emperor position and pretty much how that fits into the world landscape. Probably not very well, as China and Russia go into like the next phase of their war stance. So China's getting blasted and is pretty much the worst index in the entire G7 right now. And so you kind of see that reflected, in the HSI and the HKG. I would watch the GDP numbers and see what they say. They being the guys who are pretty much creating the lockdown for the planet. And I don't know if anybody trusts fucking China's numbers at all, but it'd be interesting to see what they say since they're pretty much holding the whole planet still right now. So I think it'll be a market moving number regardless. And then the overnight you have the Bank of Canada, next day, so you have Bank of Canada. So there's a lot of heavy economic stuff for the week. It's pretty insane. Advanced GDP for the United States. Monetary policy statement from Europe on Thursday, along with Apple on Thursday. So this is crazy. BOJ after the intervention, you can see what they say and their policy statement. And then Bank of Japan's press conference also. So all this shit's crazy. This is a very busy week. When you put together earnings with fucking this shit, this can be an insane week. And it can be back and forth. It could be a fucking moon pump. It's going to probably just be pretty vicious to be in. So if you guys are in day to day and you have red events like this that overlap with earnings like this is a very dangerous week to sit there and hold through multiple days. So just on that resolution of time, be aware of all these economic events. They're all going to be something you need to know about if you're in currencies or in like risk assets. So that's good. No war stories, but some really good economic stuff to pay attention to. That's a lot of shit. With the VIX sitting at 30 and that many red events, that many central banks speaking, and that many S&P 500 big cap motherfuckers talking, yeah, any one person can send shit off a cliff or through the fucking ceiling. My guess it'll be conflicting statements between your CBs and conflicting statements between your earnings reports, depending on what side of the market they're on. A discretionary is getting hit in the face. Energy, you care what ExxonMobil says while they're fucking breaking highs. There is big differential in what's going on in the energy markets, what's going on in tech, what's going on in industrial. So all that should be pretty insightful this week. It'll be an interesting week, yeah. Needless to say. So we're at 8:51. Got that out of the way. I guess we could do our macro and see if we can actually get out of here at a decent time. So let's see. This is all right. We use this chart for the SPY. So we had looked at this guy and talked about him as a potential bear flag. He gets up here. We want to see him make it out above this trend line, right? That's why we do this trend line. At this angle, he's a bull flag. This is potentially a 2B, but you have to rotate this trend line, which you drew on here. Oh, man, sinuses are killing me. So last week when we were recoiling, we told you to pay attention to 2B. This is a structure of if he's above the 2B, what you look for, a flag. We drew this here. We had a much smaller res version, so we do that there to show you that guy coming out of this short squeeze and this crazy sentiment and the put call ratio. If this is a 2B, he could recall higher with the CB intervention on the back of it, which we caught. It's now starting to extend, this structure from the purple bull flag that we drew here. So we're just going to see how far this goes. Once he's in motion like this, probably a good idea to keep track of this low res uptrend, just like the summer. It either turns into a bear flag again, or it keeps on tracking this trajectory. We can keep on playing it. So this is where we're at for now with him. Qs. It's basically the same thing. Qs have been a bit of a laggard. So this was the setup we showed you here. Like, remember, we had drawn these kind of really crude trend lines, and then we projected, this one, properly drawn one, so you can see the proper trajectory of the bull flag. And then your potential rotation structure would be something like this yellow guy. God damn it. This guy. And you're getting that now, right? He'd counter out of the bear flag and then rotate. Didn't counter as deep, but he did go through this level a little bit, and then you'd have a bull flag around here, and then he possibly could structure out. So right now, for at least now, you've got a 2B in a pretty decent rotation off of it. And with that rotation from last week and the interventions, we got a little bit of crypto strength from their positions, but those guys haven't gone anywhere. I know I saw a bunch of you have some crazy plays on ETH in the room. But remember, you're still trading inside of this fucking little universe. And I know you guys are playing some low rises to do it. Just be careful you don't get tunnel vision and forget that you're still inside of this meat grinder on ETH. BTC also saw some people play some awesome rotations on this off the lows. But I know you crackheads are in low resolutions to do it. So just be careful. Nothing's really happened here. But I think we're going to get our catalyst for this week that can actually move us out of these ranges once some of these economic numbers come out. We want to pay attention to this. So the VIX that we've been tracking, this upward trajectory from August, had a bull flag here. He rotated but never cleared the top, and then came back and did it again and tested Goku and sat on it. And so now you have a bull flag on angle. That should be an inflection point to watch. On Goku, on angle. We want to see how this goes today. If we're going to keep pumping, this guy's going to dump down all the way to Goku, and then we're going to see what happens here. Otherwise, a rotation from this is going to be something you pay attention to going into the week with all the shit we just reviewed is coming out this week. This is a very bullish structure for a very, economically heavy week. So definitely some things to keep on your radar while you plan going into earnings. DXY things. So he's kind of in consolidation. The intervention kind of shoved down the dollar. But that guy also, we saw it in the pound. And so they managed to stabilize the pound on the base for a little bit. And if they're going to manage to keep pushing this guy, it's kind of like the setup we saw in fucking summer, right? Where you had ETH do this shit and then kind of do this kind of crap and possibly do this. This would be what, if they're going to push this guy out, we're looking for something like this. And the dollar would drop down some more, and they would manage to probably squeeze risk assets some more. So we'll keep eyes on this to see if they can keep that up. And if DXY actually pulls back, we can redraw this actually. That guy is now, still care about this range. I'm going to keep this there, but now we can map him as he's made a new high here and a new low. So technically this motherfucker is starting to be an expanding formation. Don't you love those fucking things? So we'll kind of watch him for now with a hard top here and to see what he does. If he tracks back into a more of a normal bull flag, we'll look at it. But that's what's allowing that setup we just showed you in GBP USD. So if he rotates back to the base, we pay attention, obviously. Euro USD. He's sitting in an interesting structure. This kind of almost looks like too obvious, like bear flag, rotation, a bear flag. This is the inverse of the DXY. If we do get more intervention and push up, he can follow this track and push back a little bit and make a higher structure. But I wouldn't fuck with him until he actually proved this rotation down. It was somewhere in the lower range of this flag. And then DXY would obviously be much stronger. I think for right now, going to this week, we watch what this does. If we stabilize back up here, we give a shit. USD JPY, I think this guy can go higher. Stabilize on top of this. He's just basically done a Darth Maul, just like the same shit we see in an FOMC number. And, he can do whatever he wants here and pick a direction and come out of it. But, you let him just sort out the size of what he's done. And this is just ETH. You let him do whatever he's going to do in the middle of this nonsense, And ultimately, he'll pick a direction to continue this nonsense or to leave this range. But let him just get out of the range he's set on the intervention. And once you're on either side of this, he'll have ease of movement. See, just like this shit right here? You can just let him escape it. And then he has ease of movement, Same thing. this is basically what they do to in the FOMC. They just destroy everybody on both sides of the order book, and then they can just leave, and there's nobody wants to touch the thing. This is just another fucking version of the same bullshit, And if you look at it too, it's kind of funny, right? Last one was like over last system high, threw everybody the fuck out. And this guy's over the last system high, threw everybody the fuck out, right? Looks kind of sus. So patience is a virtue, though. Let him do his thing up here. We'll make you whatever. That's an ugly ass screen. What the fuck? Alright, so yeah, you get the idea. And so that's DXY, some currencies, crypto, UST.D. This guy we're watching again. So this guy's in the line, with all the rest of the stuff we looked at. And so with economic numbers this week, he'll be a tell. I think if you get the broader risk off move, that we should see broad correlation. And so you're watching to see if we ever get it back above this range to start setting up anything. At this current moment, your worry is that guy turning into something more bullish, but he is also the pump we're seeing, in risk assets. And if you follow this track out, this would turn into a bear flag, and we'd get a greater markup in in some crypto assets. So for the time being, you're kind of just really watching if we get back above this trigger. That's your line in the sand for this guy. So that's USDT, DXY, VIX, SPY. Okay, I think that was it. That's everything we give a shit about, I think. What do you guys think? Everybody all caught up? Everybody all right? Who's got a seizure out there? Anybody? This wasn't badass. I think this is fucking badass. This is the only way market TV should look, motherfuckers. Ugh, sweet Jesus. That was a lot. We got symbols. What do you guys got? Too difficult.
Welcome to Winternomics TV.
Much better. That's pretty cool. I was curious what that looked like. Not looking at the cam this early. It hurts this early. Don't be a wuss, Salty. You're an artiste. You should love this early. Somebody actually asked for the HSI. Interesting. All right, let me see how many of those I can get. You put a decent amount today. ETH. All right. You guys who ask all crypto over art, crypto over stocks, you have to understand the beta is so high in crypto. When you put it over stocks, it really doesn't mean much. It doesn't tell you too much or anything. It's not a great compare. You're gonna have so much alpha in your crypto asset. It's just gonna look like crypto any other US dollar. Add some color to your life, Burger. All right, let me see. Get your symbols here. Look how good our collab was. We did that fucking collab. I thought that shit was fire. So this is the HSI. Holy cow. So China's getting fucking fully wrecked. And this guy, obviously, this bull flag has failed to rotate. But this would be your last major low. This is the banking crisis low. And this is, what you care about next. As far as this goes, right, you could kind of think about this like a giant FOMC, right? Giant lightsaber, boom, boom, kills everybody. And so within the range, like we talk about, you stay away from this thing till he fucking picks a direction, right? This is just a giant version of that. That's basically taken a decade and a half. So at this moment, right, anything he does that doesn't break the low here would be considered a bear trap. And if he was to do this, if you can see this, right, he set this low, he's actually gone and broken high here. And if he does anything like this, he can still do that in time. So to me, that's probably the macro situation with VIX Mageddon, Space Cash, which we're hopefully going to get released this week. That motherfucker literally doesn't end. And we look at the macro of what's possible for China if there's a rotation in world leadership. This is probably the scale of that. We're going to the back of the 2029s. And once we get out of the cycle that we're in, and we can see 2024, I think is where you'll start to see the U.S. be in a position to actually reverse policy and start to fucking inject capital. If they're not forced into it sooner by Putin's plan, I think the world would be fucking just entire inflationary arc into the back of the 2020s, and that would be in the U.S. and China and all sides of the water. So I think you're looking at a timetable like that for China to recover. What was the other one? GFI, UPS, Exxon, GFI, Goldfields. So big gold play. So last time we had gold on here. Let's look at his low res, whatever this was. Had a bull flag on it, faked the break, never sustained out, collapsed completely off that trigger. And so on the biggest reses, when we look at this stuff, I think that's what you're watching. And so Goldfields is a big wait and see at this point. UPS. So on the really biggest reses, right, if the US is not dead tonight, there's a lot of guys that don't look horrific if you go up to like timescales like this. They talk about like Apple. If you look at like an Apple or something like, let's turn him off. Where's Apple? Yeah, look, this is COVID. This is just a bull flag. And we looked at the Dow 100 the other day, and we said we want to keep things in perspective, what this correction really is. And he's really just a test of the icebox range, the three of those that we've had on the chart for the 100 years. And structurally, that's a bull flag too. Like when you back out, right, this is catastrophic news. This blew up a ton of stocks, but really, in the scheme of things at this resolution, it's bull flag. And you could kind of think the same thing. UPS isn't too far away from that thought process either. This was a good structure that we'd put on the show a long time ago when you guys had asked about him. We had him on a couple charts. UPS. Pretty sure we had a couple plays set up for him on the show. Yeah, we had some plays on the show where we actually picked this range out. We were watching FedEx. We had both of those guys, right? So these guys, interesting enough, what a fucking blowout of this potential bull flag down to this area. So let's see. UPS. I like this range that we isolated last time. See, perfectly landed in that. Market right now, it's got a little bit of squeeze potential. So you're really watching this. I mean, he is a bull flag. Whether he can hold and rotate this range to head back to this angle, do something like this, right? Something like that's what you'd like to see out of here if he sustains the range right now. So that's a possible play, depending on how far the squeeze goes. But ultimately, this downtrend until it's broken, and the market really does sustain a meaningful rally, this can be a dead cat bounce in the market as well. The market was just excessively tilted bearish, and until it fucking bleeds off that tilt, it can go as high as it needs to get rid of those guys. Oh wait, Lulu's the next one. Lulu, it's 906. Okay. What do we do with Lulu here? I can't see shit. Lulu. So I guess we drew this guy. I don't remember when this was. This is a while ago. So this setup here never quite materialized. He got here. We're looking for a flag structure to break him out, and he never did that on the edge of the wedge. So he's pulled back, and we have a questionable higher floor from over here that he's back to again. I think this is still the structure you're watching, right? Lulu looks like a giant bull flag, like on the kind of reses we told you, really big reses. A lot of stuff doesn't look that horrible when you figure out, the US has been in a bull trend for 100 years. Every stock that you look at, if you go to McDonald's and these guys, they would be at some resolution really just a pullback in the macro of what's been going on. For all of the fucking various cycles in the United States, it's an uptrend. And so at some resolution, you back up from it, it's like, things aren't nearly as horrific as they appear close up. One of the reasons we do the macro section to stop people from being television, like, oh my God, and let the news mind fuck you into out of opportunities. What was that? Lulu? The Lulu structure is still a bull flag even at this res. Where did I just delete these drawings at? Daily. So I think he's still trying to rotate through a really humongous resolution bull flag. And let's face it, fucking Lululemon's clothes are fucking comfy as shit. I like them things. So I think you watch this and see if he sustains this. This is kind of be like the bull flag for BTC in 2021. If you can sustain this low what was the grand mile low, it's a good level. There's a 2B on it. A rotation out of this angle would probably be something you want to pay attention to if it pulls it off. So for right now, he's still tracking back, and he's got potentially the low of the year in. All right, that's Lulu. It is good quality. I am sold. I was not a Lululemon fan at first, but Director Vale has sold me. Let's see. Lulu UK 100 GBP. UK 100. Oops, UK 100 GBP. Okay, cool. Somebody had asked for this already, so we've made this thing. So obviously UK's got some problems. We know that. We know the pound. We did the pound already actually earlier. So somebody's asked the pound a second ago. We actually did this early at the beginning of the show. UK 100 GBP. So I think this is, what you're looking at as far as like, with them with a weak currency, it does give a tailwind to risk assets, but as a best of breed thing among world indexes, UK is not really it. With what's going on with the markets right now, like when you can see this movement here, you've got, and this movement here, you've got on this resolution of time. If we were to sustain and our moving average turning down, this would be a potentially bad tide. While we sit here doing this with risk assets, we're kind of watching that like in a few things. SPX 500, the S&P 500, right? All these guys tracking back. The S&P himself looks like he's in a bull flag. This is the S&P 500 CFD, just to get some of the drawings off of it. So, if that was to rotate, that probably would be a bullish thing for the UK 100. And it would change how this looks a lot if we don't continue de-risking for the fall. You would paying attention to that trajectory and see, if in time the UK 100 can put in a structure like this. Remember, when you track a bull flag, right, you're tracking a downtrend that either rotates here or the downtrend continues, right, until he becomes a bigger bull flag that rotates from somewhere else. But this allows you to follow this trajectory. Once you start to pull back, you're pulling back into what is a low resolution bull flag or a larger resolution downtrend. So we'll probably track this and keep track of the VIX and risk assets in the United States, and it'd be a better tell on this guy. But overall, I think this guy would be healthier, like many of this stuff we show you. If he could actually get the top of his system and structure out to leave this, he'd probably be in a much better condition than what he is today to pull that off. Let's see, where is it? CL, JP Morgan. Okay, it's 9:10. So let's see if we can finish these. CL1 is on this chart, like we talked about oil before. A lot of people watching oil, and there's some oil stocks that are deviating a lot. Diesel refinement, and just the refineries that are running full blast, while oil prices themselves are not through the ceiling. There's different sides of the market that are doing better than others. So oil itself pulled back right now. We think within the projection we have, he takes some time to eventually track this wave higher, this projection we have for him, and go through what is a trigger we have up here at 115, at 114. I think this is where you care about him a lot more. We can watch this. We're tracking a bull flag in him now. But the real alpha in oil right at the minute has been with guys who are refiners like MPCs, your Exxon Mobil's. These guys don't look like what you're seeing in CL. So if you're looking suggested CL as a proxy for everything oil, you're gonna miss some of the stuff that's actually moving. COP. Some of these guys look ridiculous. So if you Schlumberger, these guys are doing some fucking insane shit, right? So not everything looks like amazing over there. PSX, and these guys are laggards right now. MRO. But your refiners and stuff like that are fucking through the ceiling. So oil as a whole, because energy, I think, is bullish across a big ass resolution of time that a lot of people aren't giving it fucking full value to. But like I said, the Buffetts out there that are betting big on fucking shit like this, they know something on a bigger res that most people aren't planning on. So I think those guys are bullish. Let's see. CL, JPM, USD, JPY. Do you guys really need the USD, JPY? I already did that. JPM. I think they have him over here. JPM. Daily. JPM. What the fuck? Okay. Okay, well, the very long-term uptrend of JP Morgan since the banking crisis, and we look at this as like, let's clear some of this stuff out. This is still a bull flag, just going further than we thought. We had a low res under the previous high before COVID, a bear flag here, and he has tracked that wave under it properly. So we'll draw a trend on this guy. Really, probably look at like, both of these. And so right now with the squeeze you have, he's rotating up. I think in time he makes it to test this angle. Maybe not right this second while we have a bit of squeeze going, but I think this is kind of a no man's land bottom he put in, and I don't really like it that much. And I think financials aren't necessarily the best place while rates are going flying. But I think in time, if he ever got down to testing this angle rotating, he'd be a better setup there, or better back above the old high. But for right now, I think there's other things that look a little bit better than banks. I think some of your insurers look a lot stronger. Your brokers, some of these guys are a little bit better set up than some of the banks in financials. But yeah, I think some of the banks look like shit. Bank of America looks good. But yeah, I think when you look at JPM with that long-term trend angle, I'd feel better if I saw him make it to this angle just in the way he's pulled back like this. USD JPY I did. KCS BTC total. Total 2, I'll do total 2 first. So we haven't looked at total in a while. So with regard to like those levels we showed in ETH and BTC and USDT.D, if the risk on moves continues, it's everything's at a range where you can actually make a plan around it. So this guy looks like BTC, right? And this same swing level is in effect the same thing that you're looking at in total, right? This box range, him getting under here would be the same as ETH getting under there. So you're watching the same thing pretty much crypto wide right now. If the market's going to continue squeezing, you would view total from this perspective, and a possible rotation above this box range would match BTC moving above this trigger range and ETH moving above this trigger range. So you'd be looking for a broad-based move. And like I said, the longer this all sits like this, the more explosive the move we're going to get out of this range is going to be. So everything in crypto is pretty much staging to do the same exact move. KSCBTC. That doesn't look like that's right. What is it? KCS. KCSBTC. Oh, coupon dough. We've done this before. Cool. Let's see what it is. All right, what the fuck is going on here? So that's whenever the hell we did this. That's a great trigger. That's from way back. So had him back here in 2021. He's pumped out. But that's an ugly rise. And so I still agree with this. As a fucking like rising channel goes, he's kind of created a bear structure that he could correct from and probably sustain the trigger he broke out from, and eventually keep on doing this as part of like a broader bull flag rotation he's got going on, over here. Maybe look at this thing. Let's get this ugly lines off of this. All right, so I think that makes sense to think about him like that. Possible corrective structure, make a new bull flag, and then rotate up off of that. Let's make him something pretty. I think I got everything, didn't I? Let's see. ETH ARC. Yeah, like I said, ETH and ARC, like putting crypto things like that. ETH all you have just a, it's got a slight differential to it, but you don't get as much insight out of this as you'd think. Whichever direction ETH goes, he's going to have the alpha over ARK. I guess if you look at it like this, look at old crash cycle system highs of 18 on it, and kind of see what the line in the sand is right now on that high. You wick that high, you get interaction on the low side of that high. So this res, if there's going to be a crypto pump, ETH is going to outperform ARK. If there's a risk asset pump, ETH will have more alpha on the upside. So this would likely keep going that way. If we're going to fully get wrecked, this guy will be a good barometer on it. He'll outperform ARK to the downside also. So that would be kind of like your line in the sand. Do we sustain the pullback above this and get a structure that's kind of like the summer low and pull this shit off with a squeeze in crypto? Or if we go under here, fail the test of this level and then bear flag out to the downside. That's kind of your setup with it right now. But it's going to be an ETH dominant move. You really don't give a shit about ARK. Pretty much most stocks are going to look like this if you stick them on the bottom of ETH. Most tech stocks. All right, that was it. Holy cow, 9:19. I'm a minute early. All right, motherfuckers. So start of a crazy week. Keep your eyes on all the economic events, all the earnings that we showed you. Don't lose track of that in your economic calendar. From day to day, those things are going to have pretty big impacts throughout the week, especially earnings from Apple and Google and all those guys. So for all you guys and acolytes, really good work in the last couple of weeks. Don't get euphoric. This week can be dangerous. I know a lot of you had a really great week, and there's some really bad events that can really move the market. So make sure you mentally reset yourself for what we got going on all 5 days with the economic numbers and earnings. And for everybody on the show, I'll catch you motherfuckers on Wednesday. All right, peace.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome